The term development hell often refers to when a potential movie or TV project has remained in the early stages of development without progress, mainly due to legal, technical, or artistic challenges. Now, throughout the history of Hollywood, most projects stuck in development hell are highly recognizable properties with built-in fan bases, like any Marvel or DC production. Most of the disagreements come from creative differences between the new filmmakers and original creators. Other examples of highly anticipated films of development hell include a fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie, which started development since the third film left theaters in 1994. Script problems would prevent it from being released until 2024 on Netflix. Shrek 5 is another long-rumored movie stuck in development hell for some time due to the corporate restructuring of DreamWorks Productions, before finally being announced for 2026. Now, Chris Tucker has had quite a few movies that never moved forward in production. It's been widely noted that throughout his career, Tucker has been very selective when deciding which project he'll take up next. There are several films Tucker has had a hand in developing, but unfortunately for one reason or another would never see the light of day. This includes potential films like Mr. President, which was a movie surrounding the first black president. The film was first announced in 1999 and was set to become his directorial debut. However, it seems that the success of Rush Hour and the studio's insistence on creating a sequel right away may have delayed the project. Now, interesting enough, just a few years later, Chris Rock would come out with his own film about the first black president, Head of State, in 2003, which most likely killed Tucker's own project from ever seeing the light of day. Shortly before Tucker announced Mr. President as a potential project, he was flirting with the idea of becoming the first black James Bond, not in a literal sense but figuratively, with his own project. Unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, the project too would never enter production. In February 1998, it was announced that Tucker would be starring in a new action spy comedy titled 00 Soul. The satire of James Bond films would result in a $7 million payday for the comedian, making it his biggest check at the time. You see, just a year before, 1997, Tucker would appear in The Fifth Element, Money Talks, and Jackie Brown. According to sources online, the movie was slated to follow a low-ranking agent that gets promoted, just as a villain and his daughter, allegedly to be played by Mariah Carey, who plan on destroying the United States government by firing a missile at the Capitol building, just as the president is giving a big speech to Congress. However, it's up to Agent 00 Soul to save the day. This would have made 00 Soul Carey's official on-screen debut as an actress. Variety reported that the film was scheduled to begin production in May of 1998. Online sources state that Tucker requested script rewrites in order to set the film apart from Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, which was released a year before production was set to take place in May of 1997. Universal Pictures, the movie studio behind 00 Soul, had originally intended for the project to be the start of a franchise starring Tucker. However, the success of Austin Powers would result in that film becoming the start of a franchise instead. The second and third films in the Austin Powers franchise were released in 1999 and 2002, respectively, and would earn a combined $600 million at the box office. When signing on to this new project, Tucker had already filmed the first Rush Hour, which was released in theaters in September of 1998. Of course, the idea of a black James Bond has been around for some time. Rumors began to circulate in the mid-2010s when the last Bond, Daniel Craig, began to hint at retirement from the role. It was revealed that several movie executives had suggested Idris Elba as the next James Bond, but those conversations had just remained rumors. Even though Elba has entertained some talks as the next Bond, in a 2023 interview on the SmartList podcast, he revealed that conversations since had turned him off because the topic became centered around race. I was super complimented for a long time about this. We're all actors, and we understand that that role is one of those sort of coveted types. It's like being named sexiest man alive, but being asked to be James Bond was like, okay, you sort of reached the pinnacle. That's one of those things that the whole world has a vote in. Essentially, it was a huge compliment that every corner of the world, except some corners, which we'll not talk about, were really happy about the idea that I could be considered. Those that weren't happy about the idea made the whole thing disgusting and off-putting because it became about race. It became about nonsense, and I got that brunt of it. Now, Chris Tucker's body of work is as consistent as any other legendary actor in the business. His selectiveness when it comes to choosing roles have worked in his benefit, even if some of his diehard fans wish they could see him in other roles. Tucker has more than a few gap years on his resume where he could have fit in some other movies. But then again, if he did choose roles that may have been riskier, his filmography wouldn't be what it is today.